Hey everyone, Sleepy Reader here. This is going to be a short little sleepy vlog. Mostly just kind of catching up because I haven't put out as many videos as I normally do. And some people might think that I'm slowing down. But in general, no. I have lots of ideas for videos I want to put up, but I haven't had the time. In the past month, or during the month of June, first I had a week with 2 birthdays, my daughter and my wife. Then the next week we went away on a camping trip. And then my wife has been doing a lot more work than she normally does. She works as a substitute, as an on-air host on a local radio station here. And people started taking their summer vacations, and so she's been working like crazy. So every night I get home from work, and I'm a single parent. And just sort of in general stuff getting in the way. I did last weekend get to do a nice long chat about Batman Hush with Sean Riaz, which we posted as a live hangout video. And he and I would like to do another, probably about Batman Year One. So anyway, but I've been reading lots of comics, but when I'm busy like this, I mostly read my collection of digital comics, because those are easier for me to get at. So I was thinking about a new way to review things that I've read digitally that I want to try out, and I haven't had time to set that up, or time to just do it. Before I've done like screencasts of some images from digital books that I've read. And I'm trying to inject more personality into it, so we'll see if that works. And I'm not as sure whether people are interested of digital comics that I read that are a bit older. Some of them are like a few weeks older, and some are several months older. But I'll try talking about some of those. And I still have some graphic novels and things I want to review. I wanted to do a review of what was it called? The Transmutation of Ike Guerrera. It's this really great sort of 2-volume graphic novel, I guess you'd call it, sent to me by Comic Crack. I always call him Comic Book Crack. But anyway, so lots of different things percolating. Just haven't had the time to get them up. And it's, as most people know, but I keep recapping because some people miss it when I've said elsewhere, and I have confusing conversations about, what have you picked up lately. As most people know, I have been putting buying comic books on hold, which is fine in terms of reading because I have so much to read, but it is a little painful. But I keep watching what's coming out each week, and I like to watch everyone's hauls and stuff. I'd say the most painful things in the past month that I haven't been able to pick up when everyone else is getting it is the Richard Corbin House of Usher comic book, based on the famous Edgar Allan Poe short story. I really hope there's individual copies of those left when I come back, which currently I'm planning to start buying comic books again in September. So yeah, it was painful, in quotes, because of course it's not. It's just something to read. The very worst that can happen is that I have to buy it in trade or digitally when I'm ready to buy again. But I really, more than ever, I feel like I really love Richard Corbin's work when he's doing independent work, not part of a, doing it for Marvel or Conan or whatever, although I loved it when he did Conan. And I'm a big Edgar Allan Poe fan, and House of Usher is maybe my second or third favorite Edgar Allan Poe story. So really looking forward to seeing that. And he did a great job on The Conqueror Worm, which I believe was just a poem which he adapted into a short story. So he can do cool things like that. And then the other thing that I was really sort of sad to miss out on buying it, the week of, is Astro City. Because I love Astro City, and it's exciting that it's continuing on. In the past, I read part of it in trades, part of it in individual issues. I'd love to just read it in individual issues. And hopefully that I'll still be able to grab in individual issues when I'm ready to start buying again. I did sort of break my rule on one thing. A couple of people, I think Hippies Collectibles maybe, and Scott Constant Bronstar, I think Scott was the first one to mention The Hunger Dogs by Jack Kirby. And I saw someone talking about it. I don't know whether it was Hippie or someone even after that. And I had to go see what it cost. I used to kind of vaguely wonder whatever happened to Hunger Dogs. I remember them talking about it as Jack Kirby's own final New Gods story. But I never saw it. I never saw it in a comic book store. I never saw it sort of casually browsing the web either. And so I did a more thorough search for it, and I found that I could get it on Amazon or eBay. And the eBay prices started at like $70. So on Amazon, a bunch of people were listing it for $24, and some of them listed it as new, and it's from like 1985 or 84 or something. So I knew it couldn't be new, but I figured those were the ones in good condition. So I ordered a copy. 1985, yeah. So that's what? Almost math. Almost 30 years ago. So I ordered a copy on Amazon that was under new. I didn't really look closely of whether they said anything about the condition. But it's clearly not in new condition. It's very warped. And the cover doesn't sort of stay down there. And on the back is all kinds of scuffing and messy stuff. I don't know what shows up. So they really should have just listed this as used, to be honest. But I don't know whether, maybe I'll give them a little bit of a bad review or something. But I think for Hunger Dogs it might have been a good price, and I had a lot of credit with Amazon. So it cost $24. And which kind of makes me cry. If I had bought it in 1985 and I was actively buying comics then, it would have been $6. And I wonder where this was part of a series of graphic novels. This is graphic novel number 4. I wonder what the other graphic novels in this series were. It must not have been that well promoted, that I, as a New Gods fan, missed it when it first came out. But I'm really excited to have it now. So yeah, that's kind of my one moment of weakness. I'm sure I could have found some Jack Kirby, could have found this after my time went, but it had been such a long time that I've sort of vaguely in the back of my head wanted The Hunger Dogs. And to get the complete Jack Kirby thing, you can buy their DC's whole line of hardbacks or trades of his Fourth World, and I think it must include Hunger Dogs, I believe, and include the other thing he did in the early 80s that was a story at the end of a reprint. In the 80s, they reprinted in magazine form the New Gods, and at the end had a new story by Kirby. So, but their trades are printed on basically newsprint, so that's not a good deal. I would hunt out those New God reprints from the early 80s, get those, and then get this, and you would have the complete Jack Kirby New Gods, which is the only one that's really good. Kind of getting hot in my car. It's a humid, cloudy day here, and so I thought I would be comfortable, but my car's slowly heating up. So what else did I have on my mind that I wanted to tell you guys about? I wanted to shout out to Reader1717. She's been doing really great videos lately, Cami. I really enjoy them. I don't know if enough people shout her out or point out. I really like her thoughts about comic books that she reads. I think she's a nice original thinker and a deep thinker, so I really enjoy those. I've also been thinking about how some of the young guys and gals maybe. I don't know if there's some, I guess probably teenagers out there who are doing videos maybe don't get very many views, and the one that I watch a lot, who I think is very good, is JJ Speros, who is obviously a teenager, and he can't get as many comic books as most of us people with jobs can. But he, week in, week out, does these really good, thoughtful reviews that I don't think many people are watching. So I recommend him to you. And some other, I think there's some worry about older people that that some younger YouTubes will try to, glom onto them and try to get comic books out of them and stuff. And people like JJ, I don't think that thought ever crossed his mind. He's just there to talk about comic books. He has interesting things to say. And I think it's really cool because comic books go back to when I was young, and through my early teen years, and that's a really exciting time to be interested in comic books, and it's where most of us get our passion for comic books. So it's good to include them in the mix if we can. MistahHex is another, I don't know exactly how old, younger YouTuber who I like to watch, and legendarycollectoful, and MellowModesty. He does excellent reviews. I don't really know how old MellowModesty is. His tastes are very sophisticated. He might be a college student, he might be a high school student, I'm not sure. I thought that Wellington, Comic Book Lowdown, was a college student because he's quite mature and has a lot of interesting thoughts about things, and is just well spoken. But he just graduated from high school, so he was younger than I realized. I can't always tell exactly what people's ages are, and I'm not always paying that close attention. So if anyone is younger or older than I was implying, I apologize. So yeah, I guess I also want to mention that because someone commented to me, and he had his reasons, but that he didn't subscribe to anyone, who was under 18 or anything like that. And I thought about doing that just because there is something a little bit weird about interactions between adults and teenagers. But I feel like if I find the people who are have interesting things to say and everything's above board, it's a good thing to have the generations of comic book readers connected, because it's all about that. For me, reading comic books is all about that connection to myself through decades of time. So anyway, is there anything else? I've been obsessing about September because I think that's the month I'm going to start buying comics again. But it's Villains Month at DC, and about half the comic books I would pull would be DC Comics. So I'm thinking a lot about just skipping Villains Month. And I'm looking a lot at, because I stopped spending the money on comics because of financial problems, I'm looking a lot at how to control my my comic book spending. Because on one level it seems like I can afford as much as I want, but then things can happen, surprises can happen, unexpected stuff. So yeah, so Villains Month seems like something I could almost just skip to save money. And I could always, after the fact, buy, they're going to put out an omnibus of every issue of Villains Month, which would probably cost me a fraction of buying every issue of Villains Month, when you include online discounts and stuff. So, yeah, silly trivia that I enjoy obsessing about. I just enjoy, it pleases me aesthetically to think about comics, and it's a nice release from all kinds of pressures in life. unfortunately, when the economic pressures become part of it, that's too bad. So I guess I'll cut it off there. I feel like I had a whole bunch of other things to say, but I'm in my car with no notes, and I probably need to get back to work anyway. So I hope you're all well, and I will be watching your videos. Bye-bye.